Welcome to the Not Superheroes Just Dads podcast. No, we can't fly. No, we can't shoot lasers or pick up giant buildings. But what we can do is help set the foundations for our families, be present for our kids, and combat generational cycles. On this podcast, we dive into everything dad related, from the struggles we deal with as fathers to what our favorite thing to barbecue is. Hello, I'm Sean Laurie. I hope you guys are having an amazing, blessed day. Man, it's actually been a crazy weather right now with I don't know, all of a sudden it gets started to get real cold and windy and rainy over here. So I've been trying to stay warm. But before we dive into it, right, like always, make sure you like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. You guys know I appreciate the support so much. So yeah, man. And also before we jump into it, I have a proud dad moment that I want to share, and that is my oldest son and my youngest daughter. They both got baptized, was it like a week, was it 2 weeks now, I think, ago, which is pretty dope and a blessing for me, man. So that definitely means a lot. I know I took a week off, right? I took a week off last week. It was a lot going on. My grandfather, he passed away, so it definitely hit hard for me because he was basically a father figure, almost like a dad for me. He taught me a lot of different things. So I took that time off just to kind of reflect on some things and to take care of all that. Now, with that being said, it actually segues into what we're going to talk about today. And that is as men, the pressure of being strong all the time. It's not easy. It's not easy, but that's what, in a sense, we're expected to do that, right? And I don't think we talk about that enough as men, as fathers. You know, my grandfather passing away, I'll be honest, like I haven't really still processed it yet, like I probably should. Not because I don't care, not because it doesn't hurt, because it does, but it's because life hasn't even gave me time to process it because it hasn't slowed down, right? Responsibilities don't pause because you're going through things. My family still needs me. Work still needs me. People still expect me to show up in everything. And same thing for you guys. It doesn't, no matter what's going on, our responsibilities don't stop. The bills don't stop, right? Our kids don't stop needing different things. We don't stop taking them to the baseball practice, to school, clock in to work, or whatever the case is. And the truth is, sometimes it feels like, I don't know, it feels like, I don't even have time to reflect, or I should say for us, right? It feels like at times we don't even really have time to sit and see how we feel, right? To do, I guess, a check on ourselves. That's the pressure. Always being strong. We're the ones that have to be strong for everyone. At least I can speak for me. It's just like, I'll use this for example, right? So I'm sure many of you guys that's married, or even your kids, small, whatever, they'll see a bug or something, they'll freak out, right? Oh my gosh, it's a spider, it's this. And in that moment, right, if you freak out too, oh my gosh, there is a spider, you freak out, everyone's freaking out as well, right? But when you're like, man, it's not a big deal, it's just a spider. You get a shoe or whatever, you kill the spider, and okay, it's over, right? Or what my wife will hit me up, oh, there's a spider, come get it, right? Please get it, whatever. So I kill the spider. But now it's funny, my youngest son, just to use this as an example, but I remember when he was really little, he would freak out. Of course, he's small now. How old is he now? He's 8 now. So when he sees a spider or something small, everyone's freaking out or something. The girls are freaking out in the house, and he'll just kill it like it's nothing. And it's because he's seen how I reacted. He's seen how I'm not freaking out because it's a bug, right? It's like, oh, okay, that's that. I'm going to take care of it. And I use that example because our family looks to us for leadership. Our family looks to us when things aren't going right, or things get kind of chaotic. Excuse me. Always being, we're always being the one people are leaning on. Right, not even just family, just overall, but not always having someone to lean on ourselves. That's why it definitely is important if you can find, that lady that can hold you down, or the friend that you can really trust and lean on. It's so key. But if I'm being honest, sometimes from my conversations I've had with many other men, excuse me, my allergies, but I've had conversations with many men where sometimes they tell me like, I don't want to have to be the strong one right now, right? Sometimes they don't wish, sometimes they wish somebody else could carry it for a little bit, just for a moment, right? Just so they can breathe. I've been there, right? I've been there where it's like, man, sometimes I wish that I didn't have to carry this load right now. I wish I could just call a timeout, right? Like it's a game or something. It just give me 2-3 minutes. Or honestly, a lot of times it's longer. 2-3 minutes is not even a lot for us to process certain things depending on what we're going through. Um, Again, we're taught as men, as in my opinion, that's how it should be. But for us to lead, to hold it down, to never fold under pressure. Right? Shout out to Nipsey, RIP to him. But never fold under pressure. That's how it's supposed to be. But no one really talks about the cost of leadership, right? Leading isn't just showing up, right? You have to lead, like I said, with earlier. You gotta be able to lead mentally, emotionally, and that can be heavy for us. We'll work jobs that we don't even love. We'll work jobs to make sure our family is good. We'll put our dreams to the side. We'll put what we really want to do to the side for our family. We will always do that, right? We'll be in relationships we shouldn't be in for our family. We will have relationships with people we shouldn't have relationships with, right? Because of the betterment of our family. Like, man, you know what? I don't know, that cousin of mine, man, I should have been cut him off, but I got to deal with him because you know what? He's able to help me out with watching my kids or whatever the case is, right? Because I have no one else. I guess different things like that. We'll stay in situations that don't pour into us because we're thinking about everybody else. And that can be very, very heavy where you're in the situation. It could be, job, like I said, relationships or whatever it is, or you might even be in a living situation that you don't want to be in that type of living situation. But at the same time, you're doing it because it's for everybody else. It's almost like you're dimming your light to make sure everyone else is okay, right? We'll drive across. I know many people. Matter of fact, shout out to Chris, who I had a few weeks back. Right, he was driving across. Well, I think he said like Chino and LA or something like that. Basically, think about this, y'all. It was like an hour drive, like dang near every day for his kids and stuff like that, right? Like that's the type of sacrifice we'll do. We'll drive an hour away or an hour and a half or whatever for our kids, or to try to make sure we accomplish our goals or to actually help them accomplish their goals. Right, we'll do it for our spouses. We'll do it for our friends. I remember back in the day, man, I used to one of my boys, I used to drive everywhere for him, right? To make sure, like I would go out of my way to make sure he's good, right? And it got to the point where people would tell me like, man, you're pouring all this, but when something comes for you, when a situation pops up for you, like he's not showing up, right? But I used to do these things all the time and I did it without complaining, just like many of us. We'll do all these different things without complaining. We won't say a word, right? We won't say a word. Matter of fact, people that are listening to this, some of the people I'm cool with don't even know that, my grandfather passed away, right? I'm not saying that for sympathy. I'm not saying that for excuse or whatever, but it's just one of those things where, you just got to keep them pushing, right? Life be life. And so at the end of the day, it sounds messed up, but at the end of the day, people don't care. They care, but they don't. Right, so I look at like I have another homeboy who grew up in like the foster care. I know many men that didn't grow up with their dads. I know many men that came from terrible situations, right? But at a certain point, the world doesn't care anymore. Like you're a man, you have a family, figure it out. Oh man, no one taught me how to stay consistent with my job. Figure it out. No one taught me how to be a better husband. Figure it out. No one taught me how to, be ambitious with these. Figure it out, right? No one cares. At the end of the day, it goes from when you're younger. It's like, oh man, you know what? Yeah, that's unfortunate. I'm gonna try to get someone to help you out, whatever the case is. But then, as a man and as an adult, now it's like, hey, I got my own issues. You need to figure it out. I don't have time to babysit you. And that's just the reality of it, and that can be difficult for a lot of us. That can be very, very hard. And so it's something that I feel like a lot of us, you know, have to at times feel like we're doing it alone. But that's why it's so important to have, like I said, that spouse, that have that one or two friends you could really connect with and help you with. Because many of us are carrying things that again nobody's talking about. We're dealing with grief, we're dealing with stress, doubt, the different pressures to perform, to show up, and instead of dealing with it, we just push it down. We say, "Man, I'll deal with it later," and I'm guilty of that. I do that often. Not that I'm trying to be too cool, like, "Oh man, you know what? I don't stress out," or not that I'm trying to be too cool, like, "Man, I don't shed tears." No, all those things do take place, right? But it's like I push it down. I'm like, "Man, I'm gonna have to just deal with it later because I have this and this going on." And there's moments in our lives where it's like we're getting attacked by so many different things. We're getting hit with this bill. Oh, all of a sudden, the car is messing up. All of a sudden, hours get cut at the job. All of a sudden, your child's sick. So now you're trying to figure out who can watch your child. You're trying to get extra hours here. Oh, your other child, if you have multiple kids like me, right? But your other child might, I don't know, have baseball practice, football practice, right? So you have all these different things that you're juggling and going through. And it's like, hey, you got to figure it out. That's just the truth. And but just because, you're strong doesn't mean you're not tired, right? Just because you're leading doesn't mean you're not hurting. Just because you're holding it together doesn't mean everything inside is okay. And like I said, there's stuff that I know for myself I have to deal with. But I'm learning something. Being strong doesn't mean ignoring what you feel. It means acknowledging it, even if you can't fully process it yet. And that's where I'm at right now. It means finding moments, even small ones, to check in with yourself. Because if we don't, that weight doesn't disappear. Matter of fact, it just keeps building. If you don't actually process it, yeah, you can push it off for a little bit, like what I've been doing, but I know it's going to build over time. And I thank God for the woman that I'm with, for she knows how I am, right? So she's doing those checks with me, right? She's making sure it doesn't build. And eventually it shows up if you do. It shows up in ways you don't want it to, right? It's going to show up on your kids. It's going to show up at work. It's going to show up at your kid's little league game. It's going to show up at church. It's going to show up, in places that you didn't want it to pop up at all, but because you kept building it and letting it build and build and build, and man, I'm all right, man, I'm good, right? Instead of really understanding, no, man, this is a lot on my plate right now. Like, dang, like, you know what? I know I've been holding it off, but at some point I need to start addressing some of these things. As fathers, as men, yes, we are called to lead, but we're also human. Our kids don't just need a strong father. They need a real one who shows them that it's okay to feel, one who shows them that, life is hard. Life be lifing. Not to hide from it, not to act too cool from it, but to understand that life be lifing and life be lifing. And if you're not paying attention, life is going to throw a couple haymakers. And what are you going to do? Are you going to be to get back up? But shoot, hey, sometimes in the ring, you want to sit in that corner real quick, right? After that round ends, you got to sit real quick and recollect yourself and then get back into the ring. Because as we know, life will never stop throwing punches at us. Sometimes they're jabs and sometimes they're haymakers. We have to be ready for those things, and we have to also understand, okay, this is how I'm feeling right now. What can I do? So if you've been carrying a lot, right, or if you've been holding things in, if you've been trying to be strong for everybody else, just know you're not alone. You're not alone at all. This is something that many of us deal with on a daily basis. We know, unfortunately, besides the people that are really, really for you, most of the time people do not care, right? They'll do the cliche, but they don't care. Think about it like this. How often, right, we do the cliche, hey, how you doing today? And what do we say? I'm good, I'm fine, right? Matter of fact, let's do the reverse. Let's say you're walking down the street in your neighborhood, whatever. hey, you could say to some stranger, you see another dude walking, hey, how you doing today? And he just says, oh man, I'm doing terrible. And then he starts just pouring out and telling you all the things he's dealing with. A lot of men that I know, they're gonna be like, dang, like I didn't really ask for that. I was just trying to be polite, right? I don't really care. I got my own issues going on, right? Or dang, I don't even know this guy. Like, damn, all right, man, that's enough. Like, I'm not good with with all this emotion that you're trying to give, right? And unfortunately, that's how it is in the grand scheme of things at times. In my opinion, it's like many people don't really care what you're dealing with. They'll just act like it. They'll, hey, how you doing? They want you to just say you're fine, and then so they can go about their day. I did my good deed. I acted like I really cared what was going on with this individual when I really could care less. And so that's why it's so important to have those people that really do care about your well-being and what's going on. Because again, if I talk to one of my close friends, right, and hey, how you doing today, man? And they tell me they're not fine, I'm listening, right? I'm listening, and vice versa. I would expect them to do the same, right? And so, it's so I just want to let you know that you're just not alone. You just got to make sure you're surrounding yourself with the correct people. It could be one. It don't have to be a bunch of people. If it's just that one person they can lean on, or shoot, if it's not, like I tell people all the time, not everyone takes me up on it, but I'm available, man. If we've ever met, if I've ever just had a small conversation with you, heck, if I haven't had a conversation with you like that, that's how I am. If I feel like God has called me to do these things and be to pour out to other fellow men and things like that. If there's something you're like, man, nobody cares, nobody seems to be listening or anything like that. Hey, this is why I create this platform, right? Because I wanted us to be heard. I wanted us to be to say, man, this is too much right now. And at times we feel like no one cares. No one wants to hear what we have to say. And so this is why I'm doing what I'm doing now. I just wanted to remind you guys that, man. And again, being strong doesn't mean you have to carry everything by yourself. It just means, you got to keep going, but you keep going with the right people, right? While learning how to take care of yourself. And this is why at the end of the day, as it's called, not superheroes, just dads. But at times we try to operate as superheroes when in the reality we're far from it, right? We're far from it. We're just real men learning how to grow, how to carry the different burdens that we have to take care of. And life is going to constantly just throw us jabs. And so that's why life wasn't meant to be alone. And when I say alone, I'm not even talking about you have to be dating or anything like that, but you just can't do it alone. And yes, it's great that we have our kids, and shoot, I know some fathers they're close to their kids where they can have certain conversations, which is great, right? Which is very great, but they're also your kids at the end of the day, right? So they can't understand certain things or know what you know, right? And so it's just so important for us to have that community and to be able to, like I said, pour into one another, because man, it gets difficult. And on top of that, our kids, right? Our kids are the whole goal for us as fathers, right, is to build our kids up so they get to a point where they don't need us no more, right? So our kids are going to leave us, and when our kids leave us, right, and they're doing their own thing because they don't like, yes, they love us, but they're doing their own thing. So you're dealing with all these different things as they get older. They're gonna be doing whatever they're doing, and you still never address the issues that you've been bearing for years. And so that's why I say it's so key for us to be to do that self check when we can, and to be able to realize that, hey, you know what, I'm not okay, right? Let me find someone that I can really trust and talk to or lean on just for a little bit, just to express what's going on. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys, man. And yeah, like always, you don't have to be perfect, but you always have to be present. See you guys on the next one.